Afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining me as we take a look at your weekend forecast for the 20th, December 20th through the 22nd. And we're also going to talk about the storm that's happening this evening. It's really not going to be that big a deal, but it is going to bring a little bit of light snow to the higher elevations around us, some mix of rain and snow for lower elevations. Not really that big a deal, but as we head towards, obviously, Christmas time, and as we head towards a lot of travel going on over the next couple of weeks, I did want to give everybody a forecast. This is my weekend forecast I normally do for my patrons. I'm going to send it out to everybody because of the storm tonight. So to give you an idea, we're going to focus on both. So first of all, here is our system headed in our direction. You can see it's pretty rapidly approaching. This is relatively weak. We've been warm. We are going to trend much colder. And then this system, as well as some of the energy off the coast here, is going to kind of come together to create a coastal storm. It's not looking overly strong at the moment, and it's pretty well offshore, so that will bring us a little bit of light snow, and behind, eventually that system does wrap up into the Canadian Maritimes, and when that happens, it really opens the door for some very cold air, coldest air we've had all season so far coming in our direction for the second half of the weekend. So that's sort of the overview of what's going on. Let's take a quick look at radar. We can kind of see what's happening. A lot of this is not hitting the ground here. It looks closer than it is, although we aren't too far from precipitation starting. As you can see, some of it is rain. We're going to take a look at temperatures and dew points, talk a little bit about wet bulb temperature, and that will determine kind of the snow levels and things like that. Why, even though it's almost 40 degrees, there is a chance that even in lower elevations, especially as we head after dark tonight, we could change over to a little bit of snow. Most of the accumulation happens pretty high up in elevation, though. So let's take a quick look at temperatures across North America. This kind of shows the picture. We've had this warm air that had snuck up the coast, snuck up the eastern two-thirds of the United States, but a lot of cold air really pooling over northern Canada, and that is poised. We're not going to get these 30s and 40s below zero, obviously, but a lot of this cold air is poised to head in our direction. Below zero temperatures, I think, are pretty likely. Saturday night, possible. Sunday night, I think we're almost a guarantee. A lot of us will be below zero, and it's going to be quite cold. Sunday's going to be cold. Going to struggle to get into the teens on Sunday. So yeah, that's just kind of the preview of what is happening. Let's take a look at those. I told you we'd take a quick look at, before we get to the upper level, what's going on. Oh, and let me pop myself up front so I can point out what's happening here. So here on this side, we have temperatures. And I know these are a little hard to see, but you got a lot of, this is southern Vermont here. Up in Rutland, we're like 41 degrees. Right here in South London area, we're at 41 degrees. This looks like it's probably in the Mount Snow area, about 41 degrees, probably at the bottom. Bennington, 47. Kind of around the Connecticut River Valley there, 44. So yeah, temperatures are kind of pretty warm, but dew points in a lot of places, with the exception of some of the valleys, are below freezing. Now, what happens is when precipitation starts, if the dew point and the temperature are different, they will meet in the middle, because what happens is, in order for when precipitation happens, makes the ground wet, obviously, and with wet ground and rain or snow falling through the dampness of the atmosphere, that will evaporate until the atmosphere is fully saturated. And so what happens is, when that happens, that absorbs heat. That process absorbs heat, and so that cools things down. So in order for the dew point to come up, and the temperature goes down, and they kind of meet in the middle, we call that a wet bulb temperature. That's the temperature at which we'd have to be, the outside air would have to fall to be to saturate in order for the in order for precipitation to freeze anyways. So what's happening here is these temperatures, the dew points are not quite low enough. We would need dew points in the upper 20s, mid 20s maybe, with the exception of here. We've kind of got that looks like it's probably somewhere in Mount Holly, maybe, with a dew point of 29. Some of those locations might indeed be areas where we could see some snow. That's probably at a little higher elevation. But in the valleys, we're probably just rain, but then give it a little bit of cooling from the heating of the day, and we're also moving, and you can see wind direction. It's hard to see, but we're kind of slightly from the northwest now. We are moving in some cooler air at the surface. That'll allow any rain that starts to change over to snow. That's kind of the big picture. Sorry about the the extended science lesson there. But in terms of the upper level, here's what's going on. Here's our system today, the energy for it. You can kind of see three pieces coming together. Here is some very active weather pattern, more energy coming on ashore across the Pacific Northwest. But one thing you'll definitely notice is in general behind this, and especially as our system kind of wraps up a little bit, we're going to have the chance to really tap some of this cold air. And like I said, we showed you those pictures with those 30s and 40s below zero. We're not going to see that, but that is going to happen. And then we'll have a coastal system that develops that could bring some interesting weather. Potentially would be snow on that system, but I think it's going to be quite light for the weekend. So let's just try to break that out. So let's take a look at those storm details. Mixed rain and snow begins between about 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. today. Snow continues through midnight, or the snow and mixed rain. Rain should switch to snow just about everywhere except for maybe Connecticut River Valley down in the Bennington area where it'll probably stay all rain. But a lot of areas will switch to snow after 8, 9, 10 o'clock tonight. By then, though, they'll still be warm enough that most of that doesn't accumulate. Areas under 1,500 feet get mostly rain with a slushy coating on the grass, perhaps. I think the roads will be fine. Above 1,500 feet, 1 to 3 inches of snow will fall, so nothing too exciting, even at the higher elevations. And I think school delays should not be a problem, and school should happen as expected tomorrow. So let's take a quick look at the weekend forecast for you. Friday, flurries, as the storm offshore starts to get going. There's an upper level system kind of in our area, particularly as we had later in the day some flurries, maybe even a few snow squalls are possible. I think any accumulating snow holds off until overnight. I don't think this is more than probably a 1 or 2 inch event either. Does bear a little bit of watching. If it gets its act together a little bit more, certainly the ingredients in an upper level way are there to kind of produce a storm. But right now, the models do not want to really bring it together in order to bring significant moisture into our area. We'll have to keep an eye because that is still, I wouldn't completely rule that out, but I think right now, probably not. Saturday morning, still a few flurries left over, things getting cooler. And if anything, those highs are probably in the morning. Temperatures continue to cool. Overnight, Saturday, we stay above zero only because we stay breezy throughout the night. That means wind chills will be probably 10 to 20 below zero. Might be a wind chill advisory in effect on Saturday night. It's going to be cold. Sunday, real chilly out there. A little bit of a breeze still, although the wind does start to die down on Sunday. So if you're going to head out and ski on Sunday, you're going to need to bundle up. It's doable, but you got to be careful. Just make sure that you're bundled up well on Sunday. And these should say not 13th, 14th, 15th. You should say 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Sorry about that. It does say that up top, but yeah, somehow forgot that. Overnight, Sunday into Monday morning, cold, downright cold. Temperatures, or the wind kind of dies down. Temperatures look like they'll struggle or they'll fall below zero. We could see some 10-degree below zero in some of the favored valley spots there. So quite cold on Sunday night. So that's what's happening. Let's take a quick look at those weekend details. It will feel like winter. An unorganized coastal system and its upper level low will bring some light snow to the area. Accumulations appear to be on the order of a couple inches. That's with the Saturday system. However, the system should be monitored just in case, like I was saying. Saturday night into Sunday, we could turn cold with wind chills well below zero. A weak system could bring light snow to the area Christmas Eve day. That's like our last chance for any kind of impactful weather before we get to Christmas. That would be probably snow. Almost certainly snow is what we would be looking at that day. So there's what's going on. Thanks for supporting the channel. I appreciate that. This is normally my patrons forecast for the weekend, but I wanted to share this with everyone because it had some details. These are my patrons. They help support what I do here at the West River Weather Guy. If you're interested in becoming a patron, you can check the link in the description below. It tells you what you get as a patron. One of the things is this forecast. And also, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would encourage you to do so. Helps make sure you don't miss any of my videos. I will be back Friday morning with a look at the weekend forecast. And by then, we'll definitely know what's going to happen with this weekend storm. Exactly how much snow, things like that. If it's going to be more than an inch or two, which I don't think so, but it's possible. So we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll check that out on Friday morning. All right, thank you for supporting the channel.